Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures. Today I've got a Minicrate box. So if you've never ordered a Minicrate, this is what they look like. And on the bottom is my address, which I don't particularly feel like giving out right now, so too bad, so sad. But inside today, I finally had to succumb to the loot box deal. We have here, oh shoot, I don't even know his name. I don't know. Samurai dude. So this is part of the Legends of the Five Rings. This is one of the crab guys, Hida Kisada. Alright. So, when I saw this model, I had to have him just for that reason, the big Kanabo. So he's a nice, thick looking model, very Shredder-like in terms of how his armor is laid out. It doesn't look like very traditional Japanese samurai armor. It's very much more fantasy styled. Whether or not I'm going to glue that arm on ahead of time as I want to paint him, I'm not sure, but he is a big and imposing dude. So, unfortunately, with these loot crates, mini crates, whatever crates you want to call them, you have a very limited amount of time, and in Privateer's case, it's about 30 days on average, and then they destroy the molds, which is silly because then nobody else can ever buy it, and I don't agree with that, but that's how it works. So who am I to complain, I guess. Surprisingly, he is metal. Most of the models, it seems, lately that I've gotten from the Minicrate series have been resin, so that is a nice surprise. But now that I mention that, good old Bloody Bradigan Pit is a metal model. I know I have a Runeball Wizard upstairs that is in desperate need of getting finished being painted. She's also metal. I know there's quite a few resin ones anyway. So, pretty simple in terms of building progress. It's not going to take much to just glue that extra arm on. And it is going to be quite an impressive model. So unfortunately, if you did not order him, you're going to have to get him on the secondhand market. And that's going to be very difficult because honestly and truly, outside of one or two sellers that I've seen on eBay, I really have not come across any other places to get a hold of these after their very limited runs. What I really would like to see is Privateer go back and do like an encore run or encore sets of some of these models. Yeah, I know they're all supposed to be limited edition, but you know, to me it seems to be hurting them in the long run because they have such cool designs and nobody's able to track them down after they see how cool they are. So I kind of feel guilty showing this off, but on the other hand, it is pretty much a bona fide obscurity because given a couple months, most people are going to forget this exists. And if you stumble upon it after it's said and done, I apologize because you have no way to get a hold of him anymore. So I don't know. My thought is since these are all 3D sculpts, maybe at some point in the future, Privateer might go back and redo the model. So instead of having a big old Kanabo, maybe he has like a spear or a sword or something just to differentiate it from the original model. They've had so many of these at this point, you know, maybe they should look at what's really popular, what isn't, and go from there because they really are some nice models. And my first thought is a bunch of random samurai. So until Privateer or anybody really brings back Legends of the Five Rings in full, because, you know, unfortunately, I really have always liked the artwork. And I mean, it marries that Japanese aesthetic with that Privateer kind of World of Warcraft late 90s over-the-top armor designs, which I really have always liked. That's just my personal preference. But he's going to scale great if you want to put him into a game of Shadows of Brimstone, for example, or whatever your samurai East Asian game of choice is. Even my Nakano goes in from Wild West Exodus, scales pretty well. Of course, she is on the standard base rather than the super gigantic Wild West Exodus plinths. Grabbing the Malifaux Lone Swordsman, you can see here he stacks up pretty well as well. So if you're in the mood for figures that are obviously going to not have a game attached to them at the moment, I think it is worth tracking down some of these Legends of the Five Rings mini crates just because they're a unique take on an old line, giving it some new life, and they really are quite nice looking models. So I think I'm going to glue that guy's arm on and we'll show how he looks then. So here, just real quick, you can see how he's supposed to hold his giant metal studded baseball bat club. Quite the imposing model. And quite overall, a model I am happy to own. So keep your eyes peeled, I guess. This is Hida Kisada of the Crab Clan from Privateer's Minicrate line. And good luck tracking it down if you don't already own it. Maybe you should whine, beg, plead, and argue with Privateer to somehow release these models on their own, because they're cool. With that said, this is High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities of Miniatures, and I will see you all later as I get this guy painted. Aw, crap. Bye-bye.